Imagine a world where nearly every financial transaction from buying oil to trading food is influenced by one country, not through force or threats, but through a system so subtle that most people don't even realize it's there. That country is the United States, and its weapon is the US dollar. Today we're diving deep into how America controls the world's money, a force that shapes economies, impacts inflation, and touches your daily life in ways you might never have considered. Let's unravel this global financial mystery together. Understand America's dominance, we need to travel back in time to the 19th century when the British pound reigned supreme. The British Empire was vast, covering a quarter of the world's land and population. In 1821, Britain tied its currency to gold, creating the gold standard. This move built immense trust in the pound, making it the backbone of global trade. London became the world's financial capital, and by 1900, 60% of global trade was conducted in pounds. But history had other plans, and the world was about to change. Gold standard meant you could exchange paper money for actual gold at the Bank of England. This system created a foundation of trust, as every pound was backed by something tangible. Britain's powerful navy secured trade routes, further cementing the pound's dominance. But as the 20th century dawned, two world wars would shake the global order. The British Empire's grip on finance began to loosen, setting the stage for a new player to emerge. World War I devastated Europe. Britain was left bankrupt, France was occupied, and Germany was destroyed. In contrast, America's factories and infrastructure remained untouched. Most importantly, the United States accumulated massive gold reserves, over 50% of the world's official gold by 1945. This gold advantage positioned America as the only country capable of backing a global currency. The world needed stability, and the US was ready to provide it. In 1945, the United States held more gold than all other countries combined. This wasn't by accident, it was a strategic move. With Europe in ruins, the world looked to America for financial leadership. The US had the resources and stability to back a new global system. This set the stage for a historic agreement that would reshape international finance for decades to come. July 1944, as World War II raged on, 44 Allied nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Their goal was to create a new global financial system that would prevent future chaos. The result was the Bretton Woods Agreement, a masterstroke in economic diplomacy. The world would soon operate under a new set of rules, with the US dollar at the center. Bretton Woods Agreement established three key rules. All currencies would be pegged to the US dollar, the dollar would be pegged to gold at $35 per ounce, and the US guaranteed dollar-to-gold exchanges. This made the dollar the world's primary reserve currency. If you wanted to trade internationally, you needed dollars. The US became the world's banker, but this system had a hidden flaw that would eventually unravel it. While the Bretton Woods system brought stability, it also created a vulnerability. The US promised to exchange dollars for gold, but as global trade grew, more dollars circulated than the US had gold to back. This imbalance set the stage for a dramatic turning point. The world was about to witness the end of the gold-backed dollar. 1970, America was spending heavily on the Vietnam War and domestic programs, printing more dollars than it had gold to support. Foreign countries noticed and began demanding gold for their dollar reserves. France even sent warships to New York to collect their gold. U.S. gold reserves plummeted, and in 1971, President Nixon made a shocking announcement. The U.S. would no longer exchange dollars for gold. The dollar was now floating, backed by nothing physical. Economists predicted disaster for the dollar. Without gold backing, many believed America's financial power would collapse. But the U.S. had a backup plan. Instead of relying on gold, America would tie the world's most essential commodity, oil, to the dollar. This move would secure the dollar's dominance for decades to come. 1974, the U.S. struck a deal with Saudi Arabia. All oil exports would be priced exclusively in U.S. dollars. In exchange, the U.S. would provide military protection. Soon, OPEC followed, and oil was traded only in dollars. This created artificial demand for the dollar, as every country needed it to buy oil. Even America's rivals had no choice but to use dollars, cementing its global dominance. Oil is the lifeblood of the modern economy. Every country needs it to power industries, transport goods, and fuel growth. By making oil trade dependent on the dollar, America ensured that its currency remained essential. The petrodollar system replaced gold as the foundation of dollar supremacy, keeping the U.S. at the center of global finance. The petrodollar system means that countries must hold dollars to buy oil, regardless of their relationship with the U.S. This constant demand supports the dollar's value and gives America unique leverage over global finance. The system is so powerful that it has kept the dollar king for nearly half a century, even without gold backing. America's control doesn't stop with oil. The U.S. also dominates the world's financial infrastructure through systems like SWIFT. SWIFT is the global messaging network that enables international bank transfers. Most cross-border transactions pass through U.S.-based banks, giving Washington the power to monitor, block, or sanction any transaction worldwide. When the U.S. imposes sanctions, it can freeze assets and cut banks off from SWIFT. In 2022, after Russia invaded Ukraine, the U.S. froze over $300 billion of Russian central bank assets and excluded major Russian banks from SWIFT. This is financial warfare, and it shows just how much power America wields through the dollar payment system. Sanctions are more than just penalties, they're a tool of financial warfare. By controlling access to the dollar in SWIFT, the U.S. can pressure countries to change behavior without firing a shot. This makes the dollar not just a currency but a powerful instrument of foreign policy. What keeps the dollar strong even without gold or oil? The answer is trust. The US has the world's largest economy, the most powerful military, and the deepest financial markets. Investors see the dollar as a safe haven, especially during crises. The Federal Reserve even provides emergency funding to foreign central banks, reinforcing the dollar's role as the global lender of last resort. Trust in the US dollar is built on America's economic strength, military power, and transparent legal system. During financial crises, investors flock to the dollar, believing it's the safest place to park their money. This trust is the invisible glue that holds the entire system together, but it's not guaranteed forever. While trust keeps the dollar strong, it's not unbreakable. US policy mistakes, rising debt, or political instability could erode confidence. If trust falters, the entire system could be at risk. That's why America's rivals are working to build alternatives to the dollar-dominated system. Financial sanctions have pushed countries like China, Russia, and India to develop their own payment systems. China launched CIPS for yuan transactions, Russia created SBFS, and India has its own network. BRICS nations are even exploring a blockchain-based system called BRICS Pay, aiming to bypass the dollar entirely. BRICS Pay and similar systems are designed to reduce reliance on the dollar. However, these alternatives are still small. The Chinese yuan, for example, accounts for less than 3% of global reserves. The dollar remains dominant, but the seeds of change have been planted. The U.S. freezing Russian central bank assets in 2022 sent a clear message: no country's dollar holdings are truly safe from American power. This action accelerated efforts by many nations to diversify away from the dollar, fueling the global trend of de-dollarization. Countries are increasingly seeking alternatives to the dollar. From bilateral trade agreements in local currencies to investing in gold and digital assets, the world is slowly shifting. While the dollar remains king, its crown is no longer unchallenged. Let's recap the 4 pillars of America's financial control. First, the Bretton Woods Agreement made the dollar the world's reserve currency. Second, the petrodollar system forced oil trade in dollars. Third, SWIFT and U.S. clearing give Washington a financial choke point. And fourth, trust in the U.S. economy, military, and legal system keeps the dollar strong. The first pillar is the Bretton Woods Agreement, which established the dollar as the world's reserve currency. This agreement set the foundation for America's financial dominance, making the dollar the currency of choice for international trade and reserves. The second pillar is the petrodollar system. By tying oil trade to the dollar, America created constant demand for its currency. This system has kept the dollar at the heart of global finance even after the end of the gold standard. The third pillar is America's control over SWIFT and US-based clearing systems. This gives Washington the power to monitor, block, or sanction transactions worldwide, making the dollar payment system a powerful enforcement tool. The fourth pillar is trust in the U.S. economy, military, and legal system. This trust attracts global investors and keeps the dollar strong, especially during times of crisis. It's the foundation that supports America's financial influence. Despite these pillars, the dollar's dominance is being challenged. Alternatives are growing and the world is watching closely. The question remains, will the dollar fall in our lifetime, or will it continue to dominate for decades to come? The global financial landscape is shifting. New technologies, digital currencies, and alternative payment systems are emerging. While the dollar remains king, its position is no longer unchallenged. The next decade will be crucial in determining the future of global money. History shows that no currency stays dominant forever. The British pound once ruled, only to be replaced by the dollar. As the world changes, so do the forces that shape global finance. Understanding these shifts helps us prepare for what's next. America's control over the world's money affects everyone. From the price of oil to the value of your savings, the dollar's dominance shapes economies and impacts daily life. Staying informed helps you navigate these global forces. At Financial Game, our mission is to break down complex finance and economics into simple, engaging stories. We help you understand the systems that shape your world so you can make smarter decisions about your money and future. The financial world is always evolving. By staying curious and informed, you can anticipate changes and adapt to new realities. Whether the dollar remains dominant or not, understanding these dynamics gives you an edge. Technology is transforming finance at an unprecedented pace. From blockchain to digital currencies, new tools are reshaping how money moves around the world. These innovations could challenge the dollar's dominance or create new opportunities for growth. Central banks and private companies are developing digital currencies that could change the way we think about money. These new forms of currency offer speed, transparency, and global reach, but also raise questions about security and control. As countries develop their own payment systems and digital currencies, competition for financial influence is heating up. The US dollar faces new rivals, but its established network and trust still give it a major advantage. History rewards those who adapt. Whether you're a country, a business, or an individual, staying flexible and open to change is key. The future of money will be shaped by those who embrace innovation and understand the forces at play. For investors, understanding America's control over global finance is crucial. The dollar's strength affects everything from stock markets to commodity prices. Keeping an eye on global trends helps you make better investment decisions. Even if you're not an investor, the dollar's dominance impacts your daily life. From the cost of imported goods to interest rates on loans, America's financial system shapes the world economy. Being aware of these connections empowers you to make smarter choices. The story of America's control over the world's money is still being written. New challenges and opportunities are on the horizon. By understanding the past and present, you can better prepare for the future of global finance. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to subscribe to Financial Game. We're here to help you navigate the complex world of money with clear, research-based insights. Don't miss out on future episodes that keep you ahead of the curve. Your perspective matters. The future of money is a story we're all part of. By staying informed and engaged, you contribute to a smarter, more connected world. Let's keep exploring these big questions together. The US dollar's dominance is built on history, strategy, and trust. While challenges are growing, America's financial system remains at the heart of the world economy. Whether the dollar stays on top or not, understanding these dynamics is key to navigating the future. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the world's financial system. This is your host signing off from Financial Game. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep playing the financial game wisely.